Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Baxter Student Ambassador Program webinar. Presenting for us this time is Camila Beluco, one of our BSAP finalists from the Southern Alberta Institute of Technology. Hi, Camila, how are you?
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here today.
And we're happy to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
So just before we get started, I just want to quickly let everyone know that if you guys have any questions during the presentation, just type them into the Q&A box or the chat box, which are found in your Zoom toolbar, and those questions will be answered after the presentation has finished. Okay, Camila, if you'd like to go ahead and share your screen, I'll hand it over to you.
Okay.
And I'll let you know when we can see it. There we go. We can see it.
Okay, good. So hello everyone, I'm Camila, a student on the last semester of the Travel and Tourism program at SAIT in Calgary. And first, I would like to thank the Baxter Student Ambassador Program and all its sponsors, especially Air Transat, for this opportunity today. And thank you all for being here. On this presentation, I'll be talking a little bit about Lisbon, the capital of Portugal. How many people do you know that has Lisbon, or Portugal for that matter, in their bucket list? Not many, I bet. Well, I'm here today to try to change that a little bit. Let's start with the basic information that any traveler needs to know. Portuguese is the official language, but English is widely spoken by all people who work within the tourist industry. Being part of the European Union, they also use euro as their currency. Lisbon is a year-round destination, and it is the sunniest capital in Europe. Low season goes from December to March, when the weather has an equal number of bright, sunny days as wet, cloudy days, and the weather can be unpredictable. During the shoulder seasons, between April and June, or between September and November, the weather is generally good, with temperatures varying between 20 and 27 degrees Celsius. With the peak season being from July to August, it will be hot, but bearable. Regarding the health, it is recommended that the routine vaccines are up to date, and as a note, the tap water is drinkable. According to the Canadian Travel Advisory website, one should take normal security precautions while in the destination. But when in crowded places and tourist sites, be aware of petty crimes such as pickpocketing and bag snatching. In order to enter the country, Canadians will need a passport valid for at least 3 months beyond the date they expect to return, but do not need a visa for tourism stays up to 90 days. Now that you know all the basics, let's move on to the activities. Lisbon is the most underrated of the European capitals, but it has a lot to offer. Here are just a few places that can be seen while in this amazing city. The first picture on the top left is the Padrão dos Descobrimentos, or the Monument to the Discoveries. It is a stone caravel built in 1940, and it is meant to pay tribute to some of the most famous navigators. Vasco da Gama, who discovered the maritime route to India, Pedro Álvares Cabral, who discovered Brazil, and Magellan, the first European to cross the Southern Pacific. There are a total of 33 figures carved on this monument. The second picture on the top is the Mosteiro dos Jerônimos. The monastery is a national monument and was classified as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983, and it is also known as an outstanding work of architecture, becoming part of the Portuguese identity and culture. The two pictures on the bottom are from the Arco da Rua Augusta, from different angles. It symbolizes the rebirth of a new Lisbon after the tragedy of the earthquake, fire, and tsunami in 1755 that razed what stood before. For a unique view of the city, travelers can climb up this building and have Lisbon at their feet. On the right corner, on the bottom right corner, is the Torre de Belém, another UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's one of Lisbon's most striking monuments and the icon of a country historically molded by its proximity to the ocean and its maritime discoveries of new worlds. Here, on this first picture, you can see the Praça do Império and Museu da Marinha. The Maritime Museum was founded by King Louis in 1863 in order to promote the Portuguese maritime history. During the visit, you shall see objects of many different kinds produced by people of many cultures, as well as the beautiful Empire Square right across the street. The second picture is the Elétrico 28. The small yellow trams just beg to be photographed as they travel through the prettiest historic and residential quarters of the city. Below, you can see the Estação do Oriente. It is one of the most notable symbols of Parque das Nações, and it is a must-see while in Lisbon. Created by the architect and engineer Santiago Calatrava, the elevated station has an impressive glass roof and an access tunnel that allows you to take unique photographs. The last picture is the Panteão Nacional, or the National Pantheon, also known as Church of Santa Engrácia. It is a grand Baroque building housing the tombs of the country's most distinguished figures, such as presidents of the Republic, writers, fado singers, the poet Luís de Camões, and famous navigators such as Pedro Álvares Cabral, Vasco da Gama, and Henry the Navigator. These are only a few examples of what to do in Lisbon, but there are many more attractions, such as the Archaeological Museum of Carmel, Oceanário, which was considered the best aquarium in the world by TripAdvisor in 2015 and 2017, Sé Cathedral, and São Jorge Castle. But Portugal is not only about beautiful sights and buildings. The food is very particular and delicious. The first picture is the entremeada de leitão. It is sliced clean pig, roasted and basted until the flesh is creamy and the skin is crunchy. In other words, until it is cooked to perfection. This dish can be found all over Portugal and is typically served with potato chips. One of the most traditional dishes, however, is the bacalhau à Brás, that you can see on the picture on the bottom left corner. It is made out of salty cod with onions, eggs, potatoes, and black olives, ingredients that have been around Portugal for centuries and is considered the ultimate comfort food in the country. On the bottom right, there are the sardinhas assadas. They are simply salted, seasoned, grilled sardines. This dish may look simple, but is full of bold and big flavor. Due to its geographic location along Western Europe's Atlantic coast, Portugal is the most well-known sailing nation in the world. And because of its proximity to the sea, there is a great love for seafood, which can be seen throughout its culture. On to the most famous and national dish, the pastel de nata, or custard tarts. It's the second picture on the top. This pastry is the perfection in 2 bites. It was invented at the Jerónimos Monastery in the Lisbon's neighborhood called Belém. It is made out of a puff pastry filled with a custard that contains cream, egg yolks, sugar, flour, and lemon zest. It's usually served with cinnamon and sugar sprinkled on top. There are also many traditional drinks, such as the vinho verde, a light, low-alcohol, sometimes spritzy wine, or the famous port wine, typically drunk as an aperitif. But here I wanted to show the ginginha, or ginja, which is a sweet cherry liqueur that originated in Lisbon. Tourists can visit the Ginginha Espinheira bar that was founded in 1840 and has been popular ever since. Now, if the food is still not quite enough for you to want to pack your bags and leave right away, let me tell you about the prices over there. According to the Travel US News, Lisbon is number 6 in best affordable vacation in Europe, just behind Prague, Porto, Athens, Valencia, and Budapest. As I mentioned before, Portugal is often overlooked for its popular European cuisines, but Lisbon has a lot to offer and it is quite affordable. As can be seen on this slide, the prices are very reasonable, and as you could see before, the food is delicious. Also, there are other ways to save some money there. For example, you can get a Lisboa card that offers free use of all the city's public transport and free or reduced ticket prices to many of the major attractions. There are cards available for 24, 48, or 72 hours, and the prices goes from 19 euros to 40 euros. Travelers can also stay in a pension, which is like a guest house with separate rooms and sometimes an adjoining bathroom to share with their neighbors, where prices are really reasonable. Another way to save some money is to go sightseeing on Sundays. Many museums and attractions offer free entrance on the first Sunday of each month. Now that you have saved some money, you deserve to go shopping for souvenirs, am I right? On the first picture here, you can see the azulejos, or ceramic tiles. This is probably the most famous souvenir. This craft was introduced by the Moors in the 18th century, and it can be found on many Portuguese buildings. This is such an important piece of their history that there is even a national museum about it. Travelers can buy it as a simple art piece, coasters, or as a hot pad for dishes. Right below it, you can see a couple singing fado. Tourists can buy fado albums. Fado is a type of Portuguese song. It is all about love, passion, nostalgia, and also about sadness and sorrow. On the top right picture, you can see azeite de oliva, or olive oil. It may not be a big producer like Spain, but Portuguese olive oil is among one of the best. There is evidence of olive trees in Portugal dating all the way back to the Bronze Ages. Crazy, right? Below, there are the cork products. Portugal is the largest producer of cork in the world, responsible for more than 50% of all production. Vacationers can buy bags, caps, shoes, phone cases, notebooks, furniture, even umbrellas and postcards out of cork. Last but not least, the Galo de Barcelos, or Rooster of Barcelos. They are brightly colored, and it is an unofficial national symbol of Portugal. It can be found depicted on ceramic and wood, or printed on t-shirts, postcards, dish towels, and aprons. Here are only a few of the most popular items to bring home, but there are many more. Now, with all this being said, you may be wondering, oh my God, how do I get to this hidden gem of Europe? Well, with Air Transat, of course. Air Transat is a Canadian company founded in 1986. It's based in Montreal and it employs more than 5,000 people. It flies to 60 destinations in more than 25 countries in the Americas and Europe. 27 of these flights are in Europe and Middle East and are easily accessible from 6 airports in Canada via direct or connecting flights. Just in 2018, Air Transat was named the world's best leisure airline at the Skytrax World Airline Awards that happened in London. This means that Air Transat was voted by customers to win this award. Pretty impressive, isn't it? Air Transat offers year-round flights and packages to Lisbon. There are many options to choose from. There are direct flights from Toronto and Montreal to Lisbon, or connecting flights from Vancouver to Lisbon. In the low season, there are an average of 3 flights a week, and during the high season, there are an average of 6 flights a week from these airports. Between May and October, there are also options from Calgary and Quebec, with an average of 3 flights a week, which will be connecting Toronto or Montreal. Air Transat also offers comfort on board. Passengers can choose from economy seats that offers individual entertainment, economy option plus, where the travelers can also benefit from an additional piece of baggage, seat selection, priority services at the airport, and celebrate their vacation while sipping on a glass of wine. Or there is yet the club class, in an exclusive cabin with spacious and comfortable seats, plus 2 pieces of checked baggage, priority services at the airport, and a gourmet menu by Daniel Vecina. Not only there are many options to visit Lisbon, but they are also affordable. Round-trip tickets can cost from 596 Canadian dollars to 1,238. Isn't that amazing? Well, I hope I got you excited to explore this stunning destination, that you consider adding Lisbon to your bucket list as well as your clients, and I'm sure it will be much easier to sell Portugal that you know all it has to offer and with Air Transat's facilities. Thank you all for being here today, and I'll be answering any questions you might have now.
Thank you so much, Camila.
Thank you.
So I encourage you all to submit any questions that you may have to either the chat box or the Q&A box, and those can both be found in your black Zoom toolbar.
Hi, Camila. It's Ian Stalker. I'm going to ask you the same question I've asked your counterparts from the other schools. Have you been to Lisbon, or are you planning to go?
Yes, I've been there once.
Okay, terrific. Did you find it primarily a historical destination or a cultural center, or what did you think the big draw was, or the most important draw for tourists was?
I think I have to say historical, especially because I'm from Brazil. So we have a strong connection, right? So for me, it was mainly historical.
Yeah, okay. Actually, I noticed you seem to handle the Portuguese names quite easily. The pronunciation wasn't difficult for you.
Yeah.
Okay, great then. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Camila, what would you say was the biggest challenge you faced when preparing for this webinar?
Trying to show just a little bit. It has so much to offer. And I wanted to talk about like many things, and it was hard to choose what was most appealing, I think.
Of course, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So we'll allow just another 30 seconds to a minute for people to submit any questions they may have. And once again, you can submit those to either the Q&A box or the chat box.
Hi, Camila. It's Ian Stalker again. Do you think Lisbon has an interesting nightlife scene? I know you refer to fado music, which which I assume could be heard in different clubs throughout the city.
Fado is not a club song, I wouldn't say. It was more like a restaurant, and then they're playing it at the back. I actually met one of the most famous fado singers at the time, like not at the time, back in the day, in one of the restaurants I was in. So they are more for older generation, I believe. But it's interesting, like for me, it was really interesting to see all the people in the restaurant. It was more of a local place and everybody was singing it. But I wouldn't say it's nightclub because it's kind of sad.
Yeah, okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I do believe that's it for the questions today, but I'd like to thank everyone that tuned in the webinar today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. And Camila, thank you so much for your great presentation.
Yeah, thank you all.
And on behalf of Baxter Media, thank you for participating in BSAP 2019, and we shall be in touch.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Take care, everyone.
You as well, bye.